Good morning, Coffee with Karen. How's it going today? First, I want to say somebody made a really good point of talking about I say good morning and then I talk about heavy subjects. I don't remember what they said, but I thought right. So I'm not going to not say good morning. That would be very rude. Anyways, maybe someday we won't talk about heavy subjects. Some days I won't want to, but you know, click, go get your coffee. So today, what's on my mind, probably because I'm really separated right now from, it's been 5 days since I've kind of pulled back from everything and watching everything and I've had some time to rest, which hasn't been easy. So I can tell I'm like healing. So if you haven't taken that time to do that, to unplug, it might feel uncomfortable. It might feel really good, but it hasn't felt really good to me. I mean, it has in a way because obviously I'm on vacation. Obviously, people who don't know, I'm in Wyoming at my sister and brother-in-law's house, and it's so beautiful. But um, a lot of like just feeling like it just processing time. My body's processing. It's not like I'm sitting around thinking about stuff. I'm just, you know, sleeping a lot. I slept really good last night. But the thing that is occurring to me as we're going out on little adventures, it's just being out in the world again after the election and processing. Like my sister will listen to this. She'll have no idea this is kind of what I think about when we're driving around, but I'm trying to get my head wrapped around everything. It feels like nothing is the same anymore. Do you know what I mean? It feels like nothing. I'm trying to find my place in the world again in my head. Like, I'm trying to trust, like, what do I trust? And I don't know if that has anything to do with like what the spiritual people are calling the ascension, that this may have to do with the disconnect from the old or seeing the like the matrix or something. I don't know. I had it in my head this morning about the false matrix. I don't really know what that means, but I get it intuitively when people say it. That I wonder if I'm in the middle right now. Like, I wonder if I'm in the middle of letting go of the false matrix, the ascension, like preparing for the ascension into a different reality, because I feel in between, like, what this was my reality before, and I don't have a reality right now. Like, I'm trying, I think that's what it is. I don't know. Intuitively, that just made sense to me because it's little things. It's like, I've heard about this app called Good. Is it called Good? Goods. It's called Goods Unite Us. Goods Unite Us. And so now there's a whole app on like which companies you're using votes Republican and which companies you're using votes Democrat. So you can choose, do I want to support that? Or not only that, like, it's fine if they support one way or the other, but you'll get more information about them, about the companies. So it's even that, like, I used to love Hobby Lobby in the US. And my understanding is, well, and I have a friend who hasn't shopped there for a long time, but they're really radically right and Christian nationalists. And so that's my understanding. Do some research on that for entertainment purposes only. Because I used to like to shop there, but now I can't even go in there. I'm like disgusted by it. So so that's what I mean. Like, that's what I'm feeling. It's the how do you it's I don't know. It's confusing. It's confusing. That's all there is to it. It's who am I now? Who am I now in the face of? And I think everybody is struggling. I would guess a lot of people who are taking this as seriously as it probably should be taken are grappling with that on some level, on different levels, different ways. Many people didn't expose themselves to all the stuff that I've exposed myself to, or you probably did, which is why you maybe enjoy hanging out here and processing this with me. We got to give those people a break because they didn't, I know ignorance is not, or because you chose to avoid it, but I mean, come on. Everybody, when you're growing up, I mean, at what point did you get involved in stuff? And I paid attention to this election way more than ever, you know, because I felt it was pretty serious. But so, anyways, yeah, so it's really just finding it's feeling like I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know what's true. And it's my truth. It's for me. And then it's for you. It's like, well, what's your truth? You have to rediscover that. You know what I mean? Because just because something's my truth and you're listening to this, that absolutely is not going to be your truth. You might look at this Goods Unite Us app and be like, I'm not using that. It's not helpful. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, it's helpful, but it really makes it complicated. One of our favorite in Wisconsin, Quick Trip is for entertainment purposes only, a very, very popular stop and go or gas station. And they do very well in their business because it's enjoyable to stop in there. They've always got like hot foods, all different kinds. And even though the food is, it's vacation food, put it that way. But my understanding, again, for entertainment purposes only, is they're far right. And it's very challenging to make that choice, to not go. In fact, it's my husband's absolutely favorite place in the world. It's his favorite place. You might want to go to Disneyland. He likes to go to Quick Trip. It's his favorite place. And, we've talked about it. And so, it's like, well, how far are you going to go with this, And it's totally fine if you decide to shop at certain places. I'm not going to shop at Hobby Lobby because I have other places to go. If I didn't have other places to go, would I be that, stick it to them? I don't know. That's what I'm grappling with. I don't have the answers. It just feels good to talk about it. It feels good to say out loud, wow, this is weird, this whole thing. See, along with coffee in the morning, you also get clearing in the morning, phlegm in the morning. I'm sorry. We are actually getting a microphone because I know some people are very sensitive to sounds, like it's really hard to listen to. We're looking for a microphone that's noise canceling, so you wouldn't even probably, hopefully, hear that or hear me sipping or whatever, or that sniffling. So, yeah, I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you think. Are you feeling the same way? Are there things that you used to love and now you don't love them because of the whole situation, and now you have to deal with, like, how do you feel about that? Things feel upside down. It just feels upside down. And it's everything. Like, okay, so we're out driving around in this beautiful country in Wyoming, and there's ranchers, like these big time ranchers who have a lot of money. Like there's some, they're telling some stories about people who it's very clear they have a ton of money. But I have a very sour taste in my mouth right now for anyone who has a lot of money. And it's not because they actually have the money, it's because of what I've seen some people, this is the hard part, I've seen some people do with their money recently, you know? And we become more and more aware of how power hungry, the more money you get, the more it's like, it's becoming more and more aware. I'm becoming more and more aware of how that's a thing, like that it's, the morals of people, some people who just have to have it all. I mean, you know, and that doesn't mean any of these ranchers are like that. Does not mean at all. It doesn't even mean that, but I am in a red state. So, but it doesn't mean that they're even to that extreme, but that's all the processing that goes on in my head when you care about something like what's going on. It's silly. Like, I just want to be here, which I think I will. I'm sorry I'm doing this. I'm using a new recorder and I don't really know how to pause it and then start again. I think I'm going to lose it, so I'll have to test it. So I'll normally I would pause if I feel a little. So yeah, so I think this is the first time in a long time that I've been out of the house since all this stuff. It's been intense. I mean, it's been going on for a long time listening to Dumpy. And I'm sorry to call him that because it feels very 6-year-old oldish, but it doesn't feel good to call him that. Well, that's why I usually say 45. Only I know you're going to say, well, he deserves that name. Well, I know he does, but I'm 55. I don't want to act like a child. So yeah, do you have any of those kind of similar feelings about, what's right and what's wrong right now? And what you can trust and what you can't trust, and how it feels icky and dirty to like walk into certain places when or interact with certain people, right? And the thing is they probably feel the same way about us or you. If seriously, you ever think about that? If they're MAGA, really committed to that side of things, they're going to feel that way about us. That should be a whole nother conversation. We'll have that one tomorrow. Won't that be exciting? Won't you be looking forward to that conversation? Oh my gosh. It'll be very interesting. I have to say, like, I have a little bit of a knot for me. Like, I've been doing this for a month and we are really committed to this now. And I feel like I have a little bit of a knot in me thinking, well, once I'm kind of healed and I don't have anything, what am I going to talk about? But I'm sure I'll always have something to talk about. Something that people might actually be interested in processing with me. There'll always be something. But because I really, I enjoy just going deeper in the spirituality thing. So I hope there will be some people who want to stick that out. But I decided, we were talking about this, my sister, my nephew, and I, about whether or not I should like end the video here and then do a separate video with an angel card. But you'll have to tell me what you think. Like, would you rather me cut this conversation out and do a new video with an angel card reading? It just feels very discombobulated to me. Like, if I do an angel card reading on this topic, I feel like there's no flow. Like, my intro to the angel card reading there's no flow. And there's a part of me that wants, even though this is going to get a little longer, there's a part of me that wants to leave you in something positive, in something reflective that our spirit guides are telling us based on this conversation. So it does make sense to me to keep it here. So I would love to get your feedback on that. Okay. So I'm using Ask Your Guides. Love it. If you've been around, I just got this one. I do have links to a whole bunch of different all the oracle cards that I have They are affiliate links. It's a wonderful way for you to, it doesn't cost you any more, but it helps support the channel. Okay, so, and I've got a bunch of spiritual books that I like too in the link down below, description. All right, so I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides and guardians, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect this channel so it's only of the light. Amen. Hey guys. So can you please call upon all the spirit guides, spirit teams of anyone who is visiting this video? Because this is a real personal conversation. So please give each of us the guidance that you would give us based on this conversation we're having about not, like questioning kind of our reality at this point. What's right? What's wrong? How we should move forward with that questioning. Any advice that would just help us today feel a little better about it would be great. Remember the God consciousness I've already called in, so. All right. So I'm just going to shuffle until something kind of pops out. They know the intention. Okay, thank you. All right. So, oh, interesting. All right, so I'm going to show the picture. If this is your first time here, what I do is show the picture first. Kind of, what pops out at you. The number is 43, which 4 plus 3 equals 7. So if I have any of my numerology people here, please put it in the comments for other people to read. So pay attention. What's the first thing you're seeing? Don't you just want to live in that world? If you're seeing it the way I'm seeing it today. I every once in a while I encourage people, if you're going to follow along with angel card readings that I do, get a journal, write down maybe a quick topic, what the topic was and what you're seeing, what's triggering you in this, whether it's positive or negative. That's what you want to pay attention to, because everybody's going to see different things. So if you would put it in the comments, like if you want to share, put in what you saw, but what it also means to you. Not just what you saw, but what it means to you. So here's the word. So now think of how the word charity. It's funny, when I first saw it, I thought it said clarity. When I went, oh, but it says charity. So now I'm going to read what the guidebook says. If you have your journal, you could, any words, you don't have to try to write everything down. I wouldn't do that. But any words that jump out that are like helpful for you, you can just write the words down. And that could be a little bit of your reflection for today. Okay, compassion, grace, detachment, understanding. So those are the 4 words. It looks like this in the book underneath the title. Compassion, grace, detachment, understanding. Remember what we've talked about today in relation to this card. This is a time to open your heart and find compassion and understanding for someone in pain. Do not take another's bad behavior personally, for their plight brings out the worst in them. It is easy to be compassionate and generous with others when they are kind and grateful. However, it is much more difficult when they are hostile and lash out. This does not mean you have to take abuse from anyone. Instead, take good care of yourself and step away from any unacceptable conduct. However, do step back far enough to recognize that the poor behavior you are witnessing is that of one who is secretly suffering and afraid. I'm looking at you because I'm like, okay, that's very helpful. Maintain healthy boundaries so they cannot hurt you, and keep your heart open enough to overlook their lousy behavior. Have compassion and forgiveness for others while protecting yourself. The nature spirits are here with their endless love and compassion to soothe and ragged, to soothe the ragged and agitated emotions in the air. Take the high road and give those falling short a pass for now rather than comfort them about their unpleasantness. So give them a pass for now, but don't comfort them for their unpleasantness. The bad behavior on display is temporary and will correct itself if you give it time and space. I mean, come on. Seriously? So, your nature spirit's message to you. So, that's where it says nature spirit. Each card has slightly different. So, like this one would say guardian angel underneath. Okay. So, this one is a nature spirit. So, your nature spirit's message to you is time out. Take nothing personally. Patience and compassion are needed all the way around at this time. I mean, what an amazing. I mean, do you feel lighter just hearing that? I do. I heard forgive. I heard keep your boundaries. It's okay. It's okay for us to have our boundaries. Okay. But to take a step back, have the boundaries as a way to take a step back. It's a timeout. Okay. If you've been here, there are videos where I talk about my father. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I know there are reasons he acts the way he does, just as there's reasons I act the way I do. And I'm giving us a timeout right now. I'm going to forgive his bad behavior. And I've had bad behavior too. So I'm going to forgive my own bad behavior, the part I played in the relationship. But I'm giving us a timeout. I'm giving us a timeout. That's what we need. We need a timeout. But I'm working on not taking anything personally. Patience and compassion are needed all the way around at this time. So what that's telling me is, remember, the topic was, how do we know what to trust? How do we, what's our value system at this point? I think collectively, like our moral value system at this point collectively. So instead, take good care of yourself and step away from any unacceptable behavior. So that's what, I've talked in the last couple of days about disconnecting. Like, is it okay for us I have a video on, is it okay for us to disconnect and still be good citizens of the United States? Like, how do we do that? Or the world at this point? Because I know the world's feeling it. So if you're from another state or another country, you're like, hey, I'm right with you at this point. I get it. So yeah, so you might want to check out that. And in fact, I have the rods on that. The spirit guides come out on that one. However, do step back far enough to recognize that the poor behavior you are witnessing is that of one who is secretly suffering and afraid. Now, we do have to remember that people who have different values than us, let's just say, and we struggle with that, they were born into different circumstances, very different circumstances. They were raised in very different circumstances than I was, than perhaps you were, okay? And we do have to remember that. They're not saying accept the bad behavior. That's why this is amazing. I love this one. It's amazing. So I'm really going to take some time with this one today. I've got my journal. It's over there. I have to show it to you. I bought it at the dollar store, $1.25, and which I love to do, by the way. I love going into the dollar store. It's like my favorite thing to do. And any just beautiful looking notebook, I literally have a collection of them. I collect beautiful looking notebooks. And then, like, if I have littles come over, I'm going to have a drawer they can pick stuff out of. I just like buying beautiful stuff. Like, I just like buying pretty things. So this was amazing. Maintain your healthy boundaries. Give them time out. Take a time out yourself. Give them a time out. Doesn't matter how long it needs to be. You'll know. Everybody's different. That's like if I come back on here someday, let's just say in 6 months, and I say my dad and I have healed our relationship. We had a timeout. I'm sure I'm going to get people who say, how could you ever forgive him? He was MAGA, you know? And that's not the purpose of this channel. This is not a black and white. You can tell the stuff that I'm talking about is not, there's nothing black and white about anything, in my opinion. I've always felt that. You know, I've seen when I worked with 18-year-olds every year for like 30 years, when I worked in higher ed, I always worked the same population, freshmen basically. They're very black and white in their thinking. And by senior year, you know, you develop relationships with students and then they come back and visit you and you can see the evolution. Very black and white, like, oh, this is right and this is wrong. And then by the time they get to be seniors, they've got more critical thinking skills. So they know, which is why education is so important. They know that things are not as black and white as they once thought it was, you know? And I don't know about you, but the older I get, the way less black and white things, which is why I'm struggling, I think, with this whole thing. It's like, there's nothing black and white about this. So I don't know. I'm first of all, I've confirmed for myself today that doing coffee with Karen and an angel reading. So I think for now on, it's going to be a little longer, but you just watch it as long as you want. You can always pause and come back. But I want to leave, especially if we're talking about something deeper or heavier, I want to leave with a message because I feel better leaving with a message. So you can confirm that if you want to in the comments, but that's what I'm going to do. So this is amazing. All right, cool. I hope this helps. I hope this conversation helped. If you know anybody who you think would be useful, the more you share the videos, that would really help our channel. We've been doing a little research on ads. If you get an ad, like if you were to go back to, if you want to support the channel at all without having to cost you anything, like give a super thanks or something like that, you can go and click. If you get an ad after this, okay, so once the video ends right now and you get an ad, if you click on the ad to the advertiser, just click on it. You don't even have to watch it. Don't watch the ad, just click on the ad. We will get 50% of whatever. I don't even know what the 50% is, but we get a pretty high percentage of YouTube gets 50% and we get 50% of that advertiser's payment or whatever. So we're going to start spreading that. So do that for your favorite YouTubers because that's really amazing. So, and it just helps us, it helps me to maintain my sanity. So I paying other people to do stuff based on, and then you could do that if you like this content. For anybody's content, you can just, again, click on the advertiser. So you'll get another screen. You'll go to the advertisement and then just close it. You don't even have to, you don't have to watch it. So isn't that cool? So I'm going to start spreading that word in a way. I don't know if I'll have a little drop-in commercial, like 30-second commercial to tell people about that because that can really help all of our channels. And it's, of course, the ones you want to support. So, all right, have an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow for Coffee with Karen. Bye-bye.